Hey everyone, welcome back to I Dream of Indie. Ole Gamer Joe here with another review today. We are looking at CARRION, just recently released onto Steam PC, Xbox One, and the Nintendo Switch as of July 23rd, 2020. This one comes from developer Phobia Game Studio and was published by Devolver Digital. It's currently priced at $19.99, though it's worth noting that this game is also available on Xbox Game Pass. 2014 now seems like a long time ago, but that was when the PT demo that became infamous was released onto the PlayStation 4. Since that time, we've seen numerous horror games try to emulate that experience using a first-person perspective and having players walk through halls relying on atmosphere. While this was exciting at first for me, I'm starting to get a little bit tired of that trend and the formula is wearing thin, but luckily we have creative minds that make games like CARRION. Instead of chasing after the almighty dollar, this developer has taken some unique risks and created an outstanding puzzle game that is a little bit unsettling, but at the same time a whole lot of fun. CARRION has billed itself as a reverse horror game. I would say that's somewhat accurate. You'll play as a strange experiment gone wrong in this title. You know absolutely nothing about this creature except that you find yourself in a lab, so it would seem like this is some sort of experiment that has broken loose or gone wrong, and now the scientists are all freaking out. I honestly can't remember a more exciting intro to a game in recent memory, as I was immersed immediately, slinking around with this weird creature destroying people. It was really chaotic, but also super exciting. You control this monster with the right stick, and you're able to pull in enemies and other objects using the right trigger. Once you have locked onto an enemy and pulled it close to you can then release the stick and, in the case of humans, consume them. You're also able to rip through doors and toss them at free will. The physics are really a lot of fun to mess around with in this title. You can also swing humans around as long as you want. Apparently though, for this creature, eating humans is a good thing as it will restore some of your health. Because in the world of CARRION, not everyone is a pushover. As you explore deeper and deeper into these labs, you're going to find some enemy resistance. Some of them will try to take you down with a pistol. Nice try there, it's not going to end too well for them, and other ones might have a better shot at actually killing you with a flamethrower. In my experience, fire did do the most damage to me, but if there is water nearby, you can dip yourself in and get rid of that fire pretty quickly. Not only does consuming humans restore your health like I mentioned, it also increases the mass of this creature, and depending on your size, you're able to use certain abilities that you acquire. This is more or less what CARRION's about, trying to break out of this facility and dealing with enemy resistance all the way out. You don't have any sort of map whatsoever to navigate your way around this world, but I never really felt like I needed one either. It's pretty rare that I found myself lost at all, which seems a little bit unusual because in a way this game feels pretty open. You can go off in a variety of different directions, but for some reason I always just felt like I knew which way was right. I credit this to some overall excellent map design. The developer has done a great job laying out an area that is easy and fun to explore. Outside of enemy resistance, CARRION will throw a few puzzles your way, generally involving flipping switches or using some of the game's abilities, including the ability to control humans so that they'll throw switches for you. These are pretty stress-free for the most part and a lot of fun to figure out and mess around with. I also enjoyed the fact that this facility is broken up into individual sections, and there are some hidden secrets to be found. That said, don't expect a long playtime here. In fact, you can finish CARRION in a single gameplay session if you're really dedicated. I would say around 3 to 4 hours on average just to complete the game, and maybe cleaning up and getting all of the achievements will take you an additional hour or two. While some may view this as a disappointment, we do live in a world where games have to be extra long for whatever reason. I don't really see it that way. I feel like this is a game that doesn't wear out its welcome and it gets out at the right moment. When I think about a lot of the games that I used to play, trudging around open worlds hour after hour, how many of those hours were truly satisfying? I'm not sure all of them were, but in CARRION, every hour really felt meaningful. All in all, mechanically, I'm not sure I've ever experienced anything like CARRION, but it feels pretty dang good to grab onto enemies, swing them around, and also to slink your way around through various pipes and other areas. One last thing I will touch on a little bit here, the game does shift perspective from time to time, but I don't want to spoil that surprise for you. This is a short game, so I'm not going to go too into detail on that. Graphically, there's such an organic feel to CARRION, the animations are superb, and I love the overall aesthetic of this title. These incredible animations are only helped by all of the detail that went into creating this facility. There isn't much in terms of enemy variety with this title. You might see a character wearing a lab coat and that's about it, but for the most part it doesn't really matter and it goes along well with the setting. The developer has created a very believable facility here that is an absolute blast to explore and exciting at every corner. Carrion also has excellent sound design. There's not a lot of music here per se, there is some excellent percussion that creeps up at times, and the occasional haunting melody will appear, but this is a game all about its atmospheric tone, and the soundtrack does help to set that tone. On the whole, I found the overall presentation of Carrion to be top-notch, very engrossing, and very well done. Carrion is a short game, but it feels like an important game to me too, because of the fact that it does give the horror genre a good shot of adrenaline to the arm, which it so desperately needed. I love the overall concept of this game. It sort of reminds me of this classic Genesis game called The Ooze. Alright, well, maybe it wasn't a classic, it wasn't a great game, but the concept is somewhat similar. But that's really what's exciting about Carrion. You have to go out on a limb to even find a game that's comparable to it. There's really nothing quite like experiencing this one. I did find the game's horror aspects to be the most exciting part of it, but that's not to say that it's a slouch in the other departments too. It's also a really fun puzzle game and an adventure game as well. Is this a game that's worth its price tag? I think it's worth even more than that, because you can't put a price on memories, and Carrion is full of them. So will you be checking out Carrion? Let us know in the comments below, and if you have enjoyed our video coverage today, consider hitting the subscribe button to help us bring a voice to the voiceless ones in gaming. There's a ton of other ways that you can support I Dream of Indie down in the description box below, but however you end up supporting us, we thank you so much for doing so.